Hey y'all, today we're going to talk about a story called Top Dog Underdog, which was a play that was written back in 1999 and performed later on in 2001 off-Broadway, which starred none other than Don Cheadle and Jeffrey Wright. I know, insane. But trivia facts aside, this is a very well-grounded, character-driven story about two black American brothers by the names of Lincoln and Booth. Now, they have a very strong, long history of emotions between one another. I'm assuming that at this point you've already read all the material, so I'm going to go straight into the themes of the story. I think the themes are reciprocal determinism. Reciprocal determinism is essentially what determinism is, which is the fact that everything is based on fate, and no matter what you do, it will always happen. Reciprocal determinism is more focused on the social aspect of it. It bases off on three factors being behavior, personality, and your environment. And because of these things, it decides your fates and not some otherly power. Now, the second theme is personas, which can be defined as something that somebody presents themselves as that could be perceived by others. And with these stories, I think this play utilizes two very big things to convey these themes. One being its setting, and the other being character arcs. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Booth's character arc specifically. Without further ado, let's get into it. The setting of the story takes place in this small, rundown, dingy apartment. Now, this can be broken down into three different parts. Firstly, we have the unappealing, boring side of the setting. The reason why it's supposed to be so uninteresting is so that us, the audience, focuses more on the characters. Because with a very dull environment, all we can latch onto is the character's personality and history. So then we get a deeper understanding for the character so that later scenes become more impactful. Then we have the whole fact that the setting takes place for all 6 scenes. We never change scenes. The characters are able to freely move outside of the scenes, but we never leave. And because of this, we're given this sort of sense of familiarity that this is the place where the characters are vulnerable. Outside they have their personas, but they come back inside and they unveil their personas. So we see all these scenes of the characters being vulnerable to each other, with like Booth trying to help out his brother, not lose his job. We have Lincoln playing a song and Booth listening in on it. It's a very wholesome scene, but then we have moments where like we see these characters be deceitful. It's very because of this fact that we don't know who they actually are. We are given this false sense of security, and this is how the setting utilizes it. But then we have the final part, which is the whole atmosphere. It's a very tight, close quarters, claustrophobic kind of setting. The reason for this is so that more emotional, dramatic moments feel more impactful and they feel more in your face, while more vulnerable moments feel more somber and they're more realistic. It feels like as if you're a part of the action. And the scenes where the two brothers are at each other's throats when they're playing the final game of 3-card Monte, it feels like they're in a cage and they're two animals bickering at each other. And the scene where Booth kills Lincoln feels like a public execution. But this is when we have to move on to Booth the character. Booth starts out as a normal character, but as the story progresses, he presents himself as this flawless individual that he renames himself as 3-card. But it's a persona. It's an unrealistic character. And as the story goes on, we see him slowly lose his mask, and as we find out more about him, such as with his history with his mom, of how he got inheritance when he was really young, and he kept it for 10 years, and we don't even know what's inside it. Not even he knows what's inside it, because he has this looming fear that his mom tricked him. And because to cope with this matter, he doesn't want to feel like the underdog. He wants to feel like the top dog, which is what 3-card is supposed to be. But in reality, he gets humiliated multiple times in the story. First, Grace doesn't see him for what he is, so he makes up stories and lies to his brother to try to convince him of his persona, and then shoots Grace and kills Grace. And when Lincoln tricks him out of his inheritance, he then shoots and kills Lincoln, which exactly challenged his persona, his perception. This is when this stuff merges between his personality and his persona, came into one to keep this front up to shoot Lincoln in the head.
Open it! Open it! Open it up, bro!
Don't.
And because of this, it really does represent the final third factor of reciprocal determination, which is that your behavior is what determines your fates. his behavior of him choosing to shoot his brother is exactly what determined his fate. Nothing else. And in the end, I feel like, even though this might be just a short conclusion, but I feel that the borderline message is that you and your actions determine who you are, not anything else. And because of this, I feel like that's what Top Dog and Underdog were trying to represent with this story.